That's the problem. That's the problem. This sexualization of society in general and kids in particular. I think this is fascinating. You know, sometimes you know what you know, and sometimes you know what you don't know, and sometimes you don't know what you don't know, and sometimes even everything, as the Firesign Theater says, that you know is wrong.
You know that you're wrong, but you fear you're right.
You suspect you're out of sync. You think that you're out of your mind.
Everything you know is wrong.
Well, this is, would you let your daughter play lingerie football? Megan Rosker is with us. She is a writer, former public school teacher, promoter of education reform, and the website is letchildrenplay.com. Megan, welcome to the program.
Hi, nice to be here.
Thank you. I understand there is this new lingerie football league.
That's correct. In fact, Tom, it's not new. I think it's been around for about 6 or 7 years, actually. It's just, I think it's gained a lot of steam in the last maybe year. They have their own schedule now.
And,
so, yeah, it's getting
is it
popular.
televised?
I believe it is, yes. I think it's carried on MTV.
Oh, my. And now, I'm assuming that it sounds to me like this is just kind of I mean, the piece that you wrote, the article you wrote is basically about a father who was, proud of his daughter because she was in this lingerie football league and women playing football in bras and panties and how, that's like, no way to parent, and that's, that kind of thing. But it also speaks to this issue of this is, naked mud wrestling or mud wrestling with women in bikinis used to be something that was like in bars, and but this is like taking it out into the public.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I don't want to sound like a total prude here. I think in many ways, I'm pretty anti-prude, but well, lay out the argument for and against this. What's going on?
Well, here's my thing. I hear a lot, and ever since writing the article, I got a very large response from men and from women. And what I hear a lot is people saying that these women are out there, they're playing sport, they're athletes. There is certainly an amount of athleticism that requires to go out there and play. But I think, if they put their clothes back on and they played, I really have to question how many people or how would be showing up to watch them. So what we're doing here, I feel like, is we're making this big murky stew of sports and sex. And, you can have sports and then you have the sex industry, but to call something that nicknamed itself the true fantasy football league a sport, and that people are showing up because of the sport, it's a little ridiculous.
Well, here's the flip side of that, Megan. Back during the Victorian era in England, when it was not just immoral but illegal for a woman to show more than an inch or so above her wrist and even her ankles.
Sure.
The big thing for men to do was to show up at the ballet. Why? Because the women wore costumes that were so skin tight that they might as well have been naked. And the tutus flipped up high enough, and particularly with some of the turns and whatnot, that people could catch a shot, And that was the pornography of the era that everybody pretended wasn't pornography. And so hasn't this always been with us?
I think as long as we have lived in such a way that we don't have an honest conversation in our society about sex, which we obviously weren't having in the Victorian era either, then yeah, I think this follows us around. I think you see sex pop up in strange places sometimes because instead of having honest venues for sex in some capacity, whether it's guys going to a strip club, that almost seems more honest to me because everyone knows why they're there. No one's trying to hide the reason why they're there.
Yeah. Well,
so anytime you have that, yeah, I think it's going to pop up.
This is the interesting thing. I lived in Germany for a year, and Germany was not infected. Continental Europe was not infected by Queen Victoria, as were the United States, Australia, and the United Kingdom. And so I remember the first week we moved there with our 3 kids in tow, and Der Spiegel, which is their equivalent of Time or Newsweek magazine, which is on every newsstand, it was an article about a breakthrough in human biology, and there was a picture of a man and a woman holding hands, totally naked, full frontal nudity on every newsstand in the country, and nobody thought twice about it. A fellow came out to our house to install a washing machine, and Louise walked into the living room to see him standing in the front yard peeing. I don't know how else to say it on the radio. And she was pretty shocked by that. And he came back in to install the washing machine, and she was like, what are you doing? And he's like, well, I didn't want to, track my dirty shoes into your bathroom. And so, nobody thinks twice about it. Nudity, public nudity in Europe is like, no big deal. But here it's like, we're making a nation of neurotics. And this seems to me like one of the manifestations of that neurosis.
Absolutely, I completely agree with you. And in the examples you just gave in Europe, like I think you have a much more, in many circumstances, a much more honest conversation, much more open conversation happening about sex, which we don't have in this country, and that's why you see this popping up. It's so popular. I mean, it's the fastest growing women's league in the country. Like the WNBA, that's not it.
Yeah.
This is it.
The fastest growing women's league is lingerie football. That's absolutely incredible. And in Europe, they're very, very clear, explicit sex education in the schools, and it's like, it's
absolutely.
We've got a lot to learn in this country. We've got a lot to unlearn, I think, tragically. And letchildrenplay.com. Let's let our kids be kids.
That's right. That was my first website that I started after my son didn't have recess in school. They did away with recess in school. The article for the lingerie football is found on Good Men Project.
Okay, Good Man Project. Mm-hmm. Great, thank you, Megan Rosker. Thanks a lot for dropping by.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thought-provoking conversation. There's fastest growing sport right now. Lingerie football.
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program.